Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Draft the Glory Goon Squad. And today, we need to get our team set in preparation for the next season, which will also be simming in this episode. You know the deal. You know what this is. You know where we are at this point in the series. And if you don't, what's the matter with you? Unless this is your first video of mine that you're ever seeing, in which case, welcome. Please stay. Just kidding. I'm not, though. I'm not. Please stay. Anyway, today, again, we need to get this team set. I've tried to decide how I want to really move forward here, and I think the decision is quite clear. We get rid of Lapointe and Justice Anouan to begin the process of putting this team together. That said, I do need to go sign Narena first and foremost, so that we don't end up seeing, although I think we already have an extra goaltender signed at the AHL level under an AHL deal. I have no idea. This has been a really weird start to this episode, but I'm leaving it because why not? Why would we change it? Why would we start over? Even though the dog's staring at me like I'm a stranger. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Anyway, we've signed Pekka Narena. Let's go ahead, make a couple of trades. Of course, we know, and we knew at the end of last episode before the time it even arrived, but we especially know now changes have to be made to this team. Of course, it's going to be a slightly different squad, and of course, it starts with the goaltending, as we have to let go of two longtime members of this team. Lapointe, 28 years old, Justice is 32, but we have to make room for Brooks to be the sole backup goaltender at the NHL level, and of course, Narena and Tulipov will be the 1-2 punch at the AHL level. So the question is here, because we're talking about, at least with Lapointe, a player who has some value. And because of that, I am going to look to actually get a fair return on this. Of course, the best one-for-one deal we can do, and as it turns out, that's a second-round pick. We might have been able to get a first-round pick from a, more of a contending team who was willing to shop that pick, but I am cool with it as it is. We already have the extra first round pick, so there is that. Justice, though, is going to be one of those players we just package and get rid of for a 7th. On the defensive side of things, of course, we are still pretty much good to go. I'm trying to reimagine where we were. I think the only choice, or the only option that we had to do, was sign Pecker, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was it. So then forward-wise, I familiarized myself with where we were, and now that I've started this episode, I've already forgotten. So I'm not going to move Justice quite yet. Let's go sign whoever we need to sign, take one more look at what the roster is going to be, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully we can get to the season sim somewhat quickly into this episode. And if you're wondering why I haven't mentioned the draft of last episode, it's because it was goddamn horrible. It was atrocious. I was completely off my game for that last episode, as we're definitely going to have to double check what the situation is with the forwards. Let's take a look, though, at the current goaltending predicament. I'm not even sure if it's a predicament, really. I think we have it just about sorted out. I suppose I could have done this off screen too, but hey, why not? We're here for the process, not for the highlights. So, one more time. Now we have our 12 minus Lindholm, 13 is Grossman. Perfect. So our defense is good. Forwards. Oh God, forwards. Right. Now, yet again, we have the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. 2 of them have to go. Now, the point was made for the last, or in the comment section of the last episode, that Roach should probably be the one to go because he's not a natural 87 overall. And I'm actually going to double check that. Maybe the game just did an update. I could see how that would be the case. Let's go to progress reports and just double check that. The status of Earl Roach, even though I'm thinking he might be one of the odd men out anyway. We'll take a look at current. Roach is, in fact, actually only an 80 overall, playing like an 87. Probably for the best to get rid of him before that bubble bursts, and we are stuck with an awful contract. So unfortunately, despite the fact that he has been one of our best point producers over the past few seasons, Earl Roach is going to be on his way out. And he's actually the first guy that we're going to look to get rid of. Now again, this is where the problem with this series kind of runs in, where we are absolutely going to lose someone for undervalue. However, and actually, you know what? I do want to try and cheese this a little bit by talking to a rebuilder about their first round pick. Even Columbus's next year, if they'll take it, that would be sweet. They'd have too many players. Okay. You got to remember, though, Earl Roach's value is probably a little bit inflated right now. Detroit has too many people. Who else is a rebuilder? Too many there, too many there. We got a lot of rebuilders. Not enough people with contract spots available. Arizona is the only team where this could work. Let's see. Are they willing to take it? They are. Wow. All right. Well, I will accept that, and knowing that we might have just ended up with a very good pick. That said, that is kind of our ability to make up for the fact that I'm not allowed to do all these blockbuster trades and just trade for the best prospects. I still need to deliver with that pick, and if you've been following along with the series and watching every episode, you'll know that while we had some tremendous draft luck earlier on in this series, obviously, as of late, it's been pretty bad. It's been pretty bad. Now, we need to get rid of one more player. To be honest, I'm not sure who that's going to be. Marty stays, McNabb stays, Sivan stays, Nesterov probably stays. So between Nolan, Graves, and Kaufman. Both Graves and Kaufman are making a ton of money. They're pretty much capped out to where they're going to be. Oh, boy. I mean, Nolan stays. I mean, Nolan was our first ever draft pick. So you have Jay Graves, of course. And we have Nesterov, one of the new younger players. And we have Kaufman. Kaufman put up 52 points last year. Nesterov put up 46. Graves put up 46 as well. And that was one of his down years. He had gotten at least 20 goals the previous seasons. All right, well, regardless, we're going to save some cap space here. Graves and Kaufman. Is Graves willing to sign a contract extension? I think that's going to be a major factor here, because if he's not, and I have to pay him a good chunk of money, that's going to be a factor. And he does not want a contract extension, so we're talking about over $7 million. Well, Jay Graves, you just made up my mind for me. Thank you very much for your service. Unfortunately, your services are no longer required here in Anaheim. So, sad day, sad times to have to move on from a player the caliber of Jay Graves. He's been a great member of this team, a former 4th overall selection. As you look at what he's done in his career, nearly a decade spent here in Anaheim. He put up 60-point seasons on 4 different occasions, nearly did it on 6 different occasions, if not 7 or 8. He's been one of our most prolific players, but because of the contract situation, it is his time to go. And the question is, where will he land? I'm not entirely sure. Based on the contracts for the teams, it might very well be Nashville. And he might only be there for 1 season. And again, this is the type of situation we will look to get Nashville's pick. Actually, what are they listed as? Hopefuls? I'm going to try to get their pick next year. Let's see if that goes through. And it did. Well, my hope is that, of course, with Jay Graves, they're going to be decent this year, in theory. So next year, they might be worse if they're not able to hold on to him. That is the thought. Yes, I know we're getting some extra draft picks. That's the way this was always going to pan out, unless we wanted to go extremely hardcore and only trade for 7ths, which isn't really fair if you think about it. That's just an extra hurdle for no reason whatsoever. But it is what it is. Frederick McDonough has taken over an alternate. I think he was already an alternate. So we have 3 first-round picks this year and now 2 next year because of Nashville. So let me double check here because we are not quite done. So we have our beautiful top 6. Third line, again, it's Wharton, Koski, Ranta, McDonald, Horkoff. It pretty much has to be McDonald or Koski, Ranta, I would say. Koski Ranta coming off a 34-point season. McDonald spent the year down in the AHL. Of course, he's more of a role player. Oh, do we get rid of Anderson McDonald? I suppose that is the question. And actually, am I mistaken? Yeah, Anderson McDonald was actually our first pick, not Nolan Foote. It was Anderson McDonald, our very first draft pick. I mean, Koski Ranta is 5 years younger. But what are the odds we don't have somebody in the system here who is going to eventually push for that spot? You know? So I'm not really sure if it matters. Koski Ranta is the better player. He is. The shooting goes slightly to McDonald. The skating goes to McDonald. But let's be honest. Koski Ranta is the better player. The line will be Wharton. Probably on the left, even though he's a decent center. Maybe, I don't know. Anderson, I am sorry, buddy. I am sorry, but it is just not going to work out. I will try to send you to Nashville, though, with Jay Graves. Just because, I mean, I don't want to keep him on the roster down in the AHL. He improved back up to a third-line player after a great season last year. It's looking like we'll get an extra third-round pick back for him. I believe someone said it in the comments, out with the old, in with the new. Well, that is proving to be the case. Connor Roberts not happy about that trade, which is completely understandable. If anything, this is kind of ripping me apart internally, having to see some of these players go. But we knew it was coming. So let's take a look at the damage. We will have to sign a couple of players, but let's get that quick recap there of who has been moved out. Anderson McDonald and Jay Graves have been sent to Nashville for a first and third round pick. Earl Roach has been sent to Arizona for a first. LaPointe sent to Buffalo for a second. And then, of course, in the last episode, we did the massive 5-for-1 deal with the players that we kind of failed on in terms of draft picks. Let's do this. Let's finalize this team. No Anderson McDonald, no Jay Graves. It is such a different situation. I still haven't traded Justice. Whoops. Never mind. Let me do that before I forget. Let's not waste any time. Let's get that done. I knew I forgot to do something. I forgot that I traded every player in that 5-for-1 deal. I thought I left some forwards on the team. I did not. Another long-time member of this team is on his way out. I'll see if I can send him to Winnipeg. Can I get a third? Absolutely not. I'll be lucky to get a fifth. I'll say I'll be lucky to get a fifth. Let's find out. Fourth rounder isn't going to work. What about a fifth round selection? And we got it. We got it. All right. I'm fairly surprised it's a decent enough trade. I wasn't going to do value for him, but fifth rounder, seventh rounder. Not a massive difference. So our defense is just about set. We have to send down Burnett. So Afanasenkov has made this team, of course. And then in terms of forwards, we're good to go. We know we need to sign... Actually, how many forwards do we need to sign? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And why couldn't I... I don't know why I had to count that out. I'm just drawing a blank here today. I don't know. So let's go sign 2 forwards. Get that up to 40 contracts. And we will take it from there. Whether or not I trade away the now leftover forwards, we'll see. Not sure. It depends on who can actually make this team. So, who do we have? We have the 2 low elites. We have the medium top 6 and Cashman. Let's see. Cam Shing is Canadian. He can't be signed. Orpik is Canadian. Cashman is Canadian. Joel Lee is Canadian. We have Baumgartner, 20 years old at least. Ennis is 19. And then Modano. So it would be Modano. Yeah, I mean, Baumgartner and McTaggart are going to be signed. And we'll probably trade away Modano for absolutely nothing because he's not going to make it. So let's just do that. I'll probably trade him for a 7th round pick next year, or actually, yeah, that is exactly what I'll trade him for. We won't be getting back fair value for him. He's just a player who is not going to make the cut, so it's worth getting rid of him right now. So let's do that. He's the only forward. The rest of them we'll leave unsigned, and we'll see if they can actually make it. Let's get another deal done here. with the Coyotes. Let's go for that 7th round pick next season. Thank you very much. And let's finalize what these line combinations are going to look like for this season. So the good thing is it didn't send anyone back up to the NHL level after we signed them. Let's go best lines. All that's good, almost. I'm going to drop down Horkoff. And now it's good. So, the NHL lineup is already set for the 4th line. Gustafsson, Reefers, and Green. 3rd line, I could just play Horkoff off the wing here. Yeah, that's probably the best idea. I'm going to go Koski, Ranta, Wharton, and Horkoff. 2nd line, this is the tough one. I know I should play McNabb there, but I'm not going to. God damn it, got the hiccups, that's great. We're going to go Foote, Kaufman, and Marty Dick. 2nd line will be Nesterov, McNabb, and Sivan. Just to start out the season, of course, we can easily make changes there within the top 6 if we have to. On the defensive side of things, it's McDonough and Sebastian Kress, Likens and Nesterov, Colomore, and Afanasenkov. The goaltending, of course, the tandem of Brodin and Tom Brooks, who won that backup job with his performances in the postseason. Of course, at the end of last year. So let's take a look here. We got to bring in, we'll actually bring in Wilkinson on that spot. Who else do we have here that is not ours? That would be Afanasenkov, and I think there's just that one left wing left, and that is indeed the case. We'll bring in McTaggart. So let's take a look at the best potentials on this team. Pandolfo, Alos, and Polacek even. From there, we'll probably just go best overalls. That actually works out relatively well. So I feel kind of bad for Nabokov, to the point where I'm actually going to drop down Connor Roberts. So that top line is going to be Pandolfo, Alos, Polacek, Oduya, Nabokov, and Vance. We'll run Oduya at center. Sanderson, Roberts, and Fleury, Wilkinson, Baumgartner, McTaggart. Actually, who's the best center? It is actually McTaggart. So there we go. Swap those two around. Defensively, we have Carter and Burnett, Grossman, Pecker, Lahunin, and McCann. I think that was it, right? Indeed, because Grabeshkov is not ours. So we have the medium elite. And let's see, how do we want to do this? To be honest, I'm not sure. Let's give Burnett that spot. He's the veteran. Actually, Grossman could still get better. Let's give Grossman that spot. There we go. Of course, the goaltending, Narena and Tulipov. Beautiful. Beautiful and beautiful. I think we're good to go. I could make a few changes in terms of, positioning. And maybe even player types. That might help out from a power play or penalty kill perspective. We'll leave that, and I might change it up before we get to the postseason. Speaking of which, now's the time. Let's get the sim underway. Let's make our way through the 2032-2033 postseason. Ridiculous how far we are in this series. Ridiculous how we've started off this preseason. 9-4, 8-4, and 5-2. We're now 4-2, and can we make it a strong 5-2 record for a preseason run? Certainly hope so. Is that the case? No, it is not. 4-2-1 though. I'll take that. It's not too bad. Here we go. The season sim is underway. No Roach, no Graves. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this season. I mean, it's a big season for a lot of players. This is the time where they have to prove themselves, particularly the younger guys now on the second line who had a very strong season last year, especially in terms of progression. You're in the top 6 now. You are replacing some of the veteran guys. I mean, whether it is Graves that we just saw moved or Roach, we moved Abraham Zanetti last season. Anderson McDonald just got moved to make room for certain players on the third line who we felt like might give us a better chance. I was going to check who's the captains and whatever, but I'll hopefully remember to do that at the end of the season. I don't want to do that now, nor do I really want to change who it assigned, because that's just unneeded morale issues, really, if you think about it. But so far, we're decent. 14, 6, and 3. I'm only going to go with decent. I'm not going to say that we're doing tremendous or anything else. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep our expectations in check. There is no reason to go overboard with this. It's still far too early to tell. November heading into December 1st, anything could happen. There's no reason to just assume that we got this in the bag, even though, Lord, I hope we do. I'd like to think, especially with the goaltending and the defense, that even if the offense struggles, that we're going to make it back to the postseason. However, that is not quite a guarantee, is it? But so far, so good. The San Diego Gulls, can't really say the same thing about them, can you? After making it to the Western Conference Final last year, it's not looking like they're destined to return to that spot, which is a shame. I'm not going to say it's a focus of ours. I've talked about the history of AHL teams in Draft to Glory. I'm not going to say it's a focus of ours. It would be nice, though, to see some hardware from the Gulls at some point in time. But, of course, we do have some younger players in that lineup now, a little bit weaker in terms of goaltending, especially when you compare the two that are currently manning the crease to Lapointe and Justice Anouilh. So we knew it was for the better good, getting rid of some of these players, even if there are some growing pains. However, the Anaheim Ducks are certainly on pace to make the postseason as we head into the month of February. The best month. The greatest month. It is. Don't argue. And we're up to 35 wins. Make that 36 after a shootout win over the LA Kings. Feeling alright. I'm going to be really intrigued. Especially, too, if we hold on to make the postseason. I'm going to be very intrigued to see where the scoring is coming from. Is that top line working out? Is the youth line on the second line getting it done? How is that fourth line producing? Bottom six did pretty well for us in the regular season last year. I do suppose there could be that offensive contribution really from any of our lines. Of course, you'd like to think that with Nolan Foote and Marty Dick on that top line, that they'd be getting it done. 20-goal seasons each. That's the target. Will it happen? Probably not, as of course we get the massive delay. Actually, it wasn't that bad. Let's be honest, it wasn't that bad. But we do get the delay for the deadline, which of course, I mean, we have never taken part in. So that's not really a surprise. We're up to 42 wins. We're going to push for 50 wins. I don't know if I should be surprised by that or not. I got to admit, that is shocking to me. I expected us to maybe be a fringe playoff team. You'd think, approaching 50 wins, that we might be on pace to at least make it a battle for the division title. Although we're still stuck on 49 wins. There's win number 50 against Arizona. We beat the San Jose Sharks 4-3 in a shootout. Now we pretty much know the Gulls won't be making the postseason. The question is, will the Ducks? Let's be honest, we're going to. You'd like to think with that record. It's just a matter of seeding. We're playing the 23-win Vancouver Canucks on the last day of the season. It's a 4-0 win, and there you go. A first-place finish in the conference. No President's Trophy, but the top team in the West. Despite these changes with 114 points, your Goon squad, your Anaheim Ducks. That is, as I mentioned, shocking to me. Let's take a look here. Colorado with 110. The Washington Capitals with 118 points took the Metro, the Eastern Conference, and the President's Trophy. Although, of course, you know when the Capitals take a President's Trophy, does it really mean all that much? It really doesn't. I'm sorry, Caps fans. I'm so sorry. Let's take a look here at how our team performed this year. Nolan Foote, 19 goals, 34 assists. Not quite where I wanted him to be, but a return to form, at least picking up a 50-point season, turning back the clock a little bit after that disappointing year last year. Frank Kaufman really stepped up as our top-line center, 27 goals, 30 assists, a new career high of 57 points. He also had 92 penalty minutes, so there you go. And Marty Dick, not as good as I would have thought. Only 41 points, 8 goals, 33 assists. He had the career high of 46 points last year. So I'm a little bit disappointed in Marty. Only a little bit. Let me just double check here. They're all still second line guys. As we move to the second line, Maxim Nesterov, 20 goals, 29 assists, a new career high, his third year in the NHL. He had 46 points in each of his first 2 seasons. He hits 49 in his third season. Glenn McNabb, still a second line guy, 10 goals, 43 assists, 53 points, more than doubling last season's point total. And Michael Sivan, up to an 86, 25 goals, 35 assists, 60 points. You knew he led the team in points. Not too bad last year. He had 49. It was his third season in the league. Koski Ranta, he had a lot to live up to. We picked him over Anderson McDonald, and he delivered in a way, at least, doing about as well as he did last year. 37 points this time out. Of course, he is a bit prolific at the AHL level. That is a new NHL career high for him, though, his third season at the NHL level. Jonas Wharton, 9 goals, 24 assists. He's pretty much good for 30 points, occasionally 40. And it's been about 30 the past few years. Still a career high of 9 goals, a feat he has accomplished 4 times now. Just can't get to double digits. And then Cedric Horkoff, 47 points. Now, of course, he's had time on the top line, the second line. He's been reduced to the third line, where he might not be playing with as much offensive talent, but you can tell it's still there, and I'd like to think, and let's actually double check, does he have power play time? He does. That explains quite a bit. The fourth line, Stefan Gustafsson. Good Lord, 20 goals from a fourth liner. 29 points, the same as last year, but 20 goals, 9 assists. That is insane. He was centered by Frank Reavers, who only put up 20 points this year. A little bit disappointing for him in his return to the NHL for the first time in 3 seasons. And Neil Green, 1 goal, 26 assists. It was his first time back in the NHL in 5 seasons. He puts up 27 points, a new career high. So I talked about how all 4 lines are more than likely capable of generating some offense. That proved to be the case. And then taking a look here, Frederick McDonough, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points, only a plus 28 this season. I think I just realized last year, too, I didn't look at the hits of the fights. I might not have done that for a while. Sebastian Kress, 12 goals, 1 assist, good for 13 points. Not too shabby. Clinton Likens, 5 goals, 19 assists. And Yuri Nesterov, 3 goals, 6 assists. Cullimore with 5 points this year, and then Afanasenkov with 5 points as well in his first season with the main club. Marcus Brodin, a .930 save percentage. Tom Brooks with a .932 in how many appearances? 18. Only 9 wins, though, in those 18 appearances. Not too shabby. I'm excited about this team heading into the postseason. The one thing I want to change... Actually, that's a tough call. It is a tough call as far as what I want to change, whether or not I want to move Koski Ranta over to the left. I want to check our power play's effectiveness. Then I need to double check contracts and look to re-sign people mid-season if I can. Hopefully that hasn't changed, considering we're not yet into the postseason. So let's take a look at how we did in terms of power play and penalty kill. Second best record in the league, of course. Goals for at a 2.54 is good for top 10 in the league. Goals against at a 1.99, third lowest in the league. Our power play at 19.8%, about mid-table, closer to top half, though. Of course, you can see us there, third from the bottom. And our penalty kill at 81.6%, closer to mid-table. So we didn't exactly kill it on special teams. But it's decent. It's decent, and if I change one or two things here, it may help. And the first thing that I'm going to do, just for the sake of the penalty kill more than anything, is I just want to make sure Koski Ranta is changed to a left wing. And then that way, I hit Horkoff's name because of menu lag. That's tremendous. Cedric Horkoff, everybody, and we'll see you later. Goodbye. Let's go back to Koski Ranta before we get into the postseason, because I think I'll probably run through the postseason in this episode. Before we do that, I will go ahead and negotiate those contracts. I don't know. Will I go through the offseason? Do I want to cliffhanger you guys yet again? I know how much you love that. Don't lie. You love a good cliffhanger, just like I do. Also doesn't help that I have other stuff that I want to record, but you know, it's all well and good. It's all well and good. So let's see. Let's go best lines. So again, we will swap those two around. It actually puts Sivan on the left. But again, we're going to change that around. Whatever the power play decides to do, I am fine with. Pandolfo, Alos, Polasek, they had some strong seasons. I'm still a little bit worried about Polasek's development, but we'll see what happens. Narena, nah. So, the goaltending at the AHL level, not quite the strongest, but again, we pretty much expected that. So, before we find out, although having taken a look at everything we've looked at, you can probably already have a guess as to who we're playing. Before we get to the postseason, let's go ahead and see who we have to renegotiate with, because cap space-wise, we're looking okay. So all expiring, we don't have to worry about any goaltenders. But we do have to worry about some relatively big names. And Marty is willing to sign a contract extension, which, you know what that means. Especially, too, when he's looking for $8.5 million. It's time to bring up the old desktop calendar. Everybody give it up. Calendar. The calculator. Give it up for the desktop calculator. I mean, really, though, this first one, though. Boy. Also, math for me. Holy shit. Math for me. I mean, yeah, it's 7,225. Not bad. Not bad. Could have done that in my head. Didn't. Laziness. There you go. 4 years at 725. Not bad for a top liner. Whether or not he actually deserves that money, well, you know. We do have $36 million to negotiate with as well. Good Lord, Nesterov wants to be paid like a first liner, which could be slightly, let's go with slightly problematic for what we are looking to do here. Let's go 6,775 for 1 year. Koski Ranta, that's not bad. I was thinking he was going to ask, bless you, doggo. I thought for sure he was going to ask for over $3 million. So 2,175 on that. Gustafson, only $2 million. Beautiful. Again, bless you, doggo. We got a sneezy doggo today. I hope that's picking up on the mic. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, which is what I'm really doing anyway, if you think about it. Afanasenkov, the rookie, good Lord man. What is up with third-pairing defensemen asking for the goddamn moon and back? What is up with that? Bless you, doggo. Oh, my goodness. Adorable and concerning. All right, what else do we got here? Let's go for green. All right, I still think we'll be able to pull this off. Hopefully. At least this will give me an idea heading into the draft whether or not I need to trade anybody that has a cap hit as well. Let's try to sign Alos. He's going to look for his first big boy contract, even though he's not going to be... actually, I can't say that. I mean, he's not on the team now. He might be heading into next season. Burnett, 1,325. See what we got to do there is I guarantee I'm going to have to let the dog out of the room here in a second, which will mean, yep, there's the line. Jump cut. All right, we're good. Hopefully. I hope that we're good. Although that wasn't the last contract. Boy, as I just try to act like I didn't have to chase the dog outside or anything. I didn't have to chase her. She saw a squirrel. It wouldn't come back inside. So that was a whole to-do. A whole dilemma. But that's okay. We're back now. we're remembering that we were using the 85% trick, making things happen, signing contracts. Hopefully, one can only hope that these players will actually sign. Make it somewhat easy for me. 107.5 for Carter. Am I trying to breeze through this as quickly as possible? Somewhat, because there's a lot of players we hadn't signed. Fleury can stay. Pandolfo, what are you doing? Asking for a one-way deal. What are you doing? Like, really? You think that shit's gonna fly? Let's go 1 year at 900K. And we're good for now. Although I am gonna have to sign Shing, Ennis, and Lindholm, but that's okay. So the only guy who was listed as a no would have been what? Wharton, Horkoff, and Reefers. That's it. So we'll worry about them once we get that first bit of information back. So with that said, with that taken care of, let's get ready to rumble. No, let's not do that, but let's see what happens here if we get any answers. Marty Dick is back. All right, not too bad. That's a good way to start, to have the biggest name and the best name, mind you, offer to stay or accept our offer. As I take a swig of the best drink on the goddamn planet in a chipped glass, I just noticed. Lucky I didn't cut my lip. Holy shit. What the hell happened there? Boy, that is a chipped glass right there. All right, well, remind me to remind myself to remind me that this glass needs to be thrown away. Because goddamn, I am really lucky I didn't just shred my upper lip on that. Anyway, we're playing the LA Kings in the first round. Let's take a look at what we're up against in the form of the LA Kings, shall we? Earl Roach, by the way. How did Earl do in Arizona? A new career high of 71 points. Playing with Nolan Patrick and Franklin Knights. Oh, Nolan. What once was, huh? What once was. Let's take a look at actually, I want to take a look at Nashville as well. How'd Jay Graves do this year? Oh, god damn it. I'm not saying we drag people down, but we might possibly maybe drag people down. 26 points for Anderson. Okay, back to the task at hand. The LA Kings. And it's an interesting lineup. Don't know how to judge this. Top line. Former 10th overall selection, Tim Wheeler. He is with 36 years old. 36-year-old Jack Eichel. And Valeri Gonchar, former 20th overall pick. Pretty damn good 20th overall pick, if I do say so myself. LA, bravo. Second line, 37-year-old Nick Ritchie with Randy Erskine. Pretty solid pick up there for a fourth-round selection. And Ivan Kosarenkov, who was selected by Vegas, but now at 35 years old, finds himself with LA. Third line, we get Gord Friggin. Good old Gord Friggin with Stefan Rolu. We're not doing this again. Well, I'm leaving that behind. That's rebuilding Hockeytown. Christian Fisher rounds out the third line. We get to the fourth line. It's Manny Patrick with Evan Bancroft and Kim Almqvist. The defense is no comment. No comment on their defense. It starts off very well, though, with Kelly Hutton. Right. He's on a pairing with Valeri Saprikin. The second pairing is Ronald Grossman with Evan Girard. And Bob Jacobs is with Keith Harkins. You'll notice a lot of low draft picks there for LA. Oh, God help me. Okay, yep, that explains it. That explains it. Jesus, take the wheel. Take it from my hands, Lord. Sven Lilia, 92 overall. To those who say, well, yeah, there's a bad team, pretty bad team in front of them, so they must have a great goalie who performs very well. You know what? You're not wrong. 930 save percentage. So that's definitely a thing. There's definitely a balancing act with these teams. It almost doesn't let a bad team be bad unless it's really bad. Because a goalie like Sven Lilia can carry a team. They have a franchise goalie as well in Derek Primo. Good Lord. All right, well, injuries aren't even on, but if they were to be, we would still have to deal with the two-headed monster known as their goaltending tandem. However, I don't even know what to say anymore. What's the build-up? I have a bad feeling about this, guys. We've lost in the first round in consecutive years, and I'm afraid this could be the third straight postseason, in which case we suffer from, holy shit, the Gulls made the playoffs. The third straight year in which we suffer from a first-round disappointment. Could happen. Speaking of could happen, something I didn't think would happen, but apparently it could have happened and did happen. How the hell did the San Diego Gulls make the postseason wild card? That's the answer. 88 points. Well, bravo to the Birds. Now, if we're the Goon squad and I call them the Dirty Birds, is that a fit? Like, can we do that? Can we steal that? I think we can. Game 1 of round 1 against the LAC, the LA Kings, and of course we'll keep an eye out on the Gulls throughout this postseason journey. First period of game 1, and it is scoreless, so we go right to the second period, which is very much not scoreless. Very much not. 3 goals, all from the second line. Sivan, Nestorov, and Sivan again. 3-0 at the end of 40, 21 shots to 16. Third period, can we hold on to the lead? Yes, we can, and we can add to it. And Michael Sivan gets the postseason hat trick to start off this hopeful cup run. What a game from the goaltending and the defense. What a game from that second line. 4-point night for Maxim Nestorov, involved in all 4 goals. Sivan gets the hat trick. The current second line might not be the second line for all that long, as Alos has accepted. Green, Burnett, Fleury, Vance, Oduya, Carter, Gustafsson, Koski-Ranta, Nestorov, Pandolfo, and Afanasenkov have all accepted their contracts. Their reduced contracts, mind you. So before game 2, let's take a look at what negotiations we have to come to terms with here, and more importantly, what the cap space situation is going to be like. So again, it's just Wharton, Horkoff, and Reefers. We have $18 million to get it done. So first and foremost, we will just offer these guys the deals that they want, even if the first 2 are a little bit overinflated, let's be honest. At least want to make sure that we're able to re-sign them. Hopefully they accept those initial offers, and I don't have to offer them that much more. If not, we will offer them that much more to make sure we can at least trade them for draft picks or a singular draft pick in the future. Game 2. Both teams won in Game 1, which is tremendous. Just a simply amazing performance in that first game from our second line. Can they add to that, though? Let's find out. First period of Game 2 is scoreless. Second period is scoreless. 25 shots to 19. Third period, can we walk away from these first 2 games with the 2-0 series lead? Oh my God, we're going to overtime. Scoreless. 41 shots to 30. A goaltending duel of epic proportions. Overtime goes to the Ducks, and who else would have gotten it? Michael Sivan. Holy hell, do we have ourselves a Danny Briere style postseason performer here. Now, shout out to Sven Lilja. 52 saves. He did everything he could to keep the Kings in it. But Marcus Brodin, the 38 save shutout, he has yet to give up a goal in this series. And because I said that, he is going to get shelled. Michael Sivan dominating so far. Marcus Brodin, back-to-back shutouts, and my fucking game crashed.